Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present in this very interesting workshop. My name is Widyarani. I'm from Research Unit for Clean Technologies, Indonesian Institute of Sciences. So the title is Co-Creation of Value Chain in Indonesian Rural Area. So this is a picture of aerial picture of a rural area in Indonesia. I think it's a bit typical for Southeast Asia. Maybe you also have kind of like this in Philippines. So there is a mountain and paddy field and a lot of greeneries. So I really like this picture because it looks peaceful and tranquil and clean. But if we zoom in, more focus on smaller part, actually we can still see some problem in this area, such as the discharge of wastewater to the river and also garbage which is thrown to the river. We know that nature has an ability to self-healing, to self-purify itself. So if we have a pollution source here, for instance, from house, in certain area it will be, the environmental quality will be downgraded, but after a while it will be clean again. And this should be more easy in the rural area because the population is not as big as urban, also less activities, and also there is still a lot of support from vegetation. However, if we have more population and even worse, probably industries, then the capacity even in the rural area will also decrease. So this is our study location. We are here now in Philippines. Indonesia is a bit to the south. And our study area is but here in West Java. Here, Sumedang Regency, Kebun Jati village, and to be precise, Giriharja village, Giriharja Sub-village. So this is the main street of the Giriharja village. We can see the mountains here. It is a small sub-village, 368 households, 1,191 people with the population density of 22 people per hectare. You can see here that the proportion of male and female is almost the same. The male is slightly higher. This is the occupation profile. We have still a lot of housewives and also people who's not working. In Giriharja, there is surprisingly low number of farmers. It's probably because the farmers also has a lot other jobs, so it's not that high. Also, surprisingly high number of entrepreneurs. If you see the education, even if we take into account that some of these are students, we still can see that a lot of people in Giriharja Sub-village is only has primary and middle school level education. So we want to know the perception of environment from this community. So we conducted a survey. We spread around 200 questionnaires. Unfortunately, when I prepared this presentation, we only had preliminary results, so only 55 55 results. As we can see here, we have only 11 male and 44 female. So it's not the result that we expected, but we hope that we can get a glimpse of what their idea about environment. So first, we asked them about sanitation access. First, we asked whether they have toilets or not in their houses, and almost all of them say yes. Only one person say they don't have toilet in their houses. Also, almost all of them has a septic tank in their houses. Only 2% says that they don't have. This is a bit different from our case in Giriharja, because I think in Giriharja only about 50% has proper access to sanitation. But here, almost everyone has, even the one who doesn't have toilet, they maybe have a shared toilet. We also asked about the water source. Almost all of them using groundwater. Only 1% using spring, and no one use water from water company because there is no network yet to that area. We also asked about solid waste management. Some of them say that they dispose their household garbage taken by a garbage man. Some of them just throw the garbage to the ditch, and then it goes to the river, just like we saw. And then some of them are burn their waste. So there is a problem. What we found that there is no current problem with the sanitation. There is still some problem with the waste management. But what we find is there is a problem with the tofu wastewater. You remember that there is about 100 entrepreneurs in Giriharja village. So at least 10 of them are tofu factory owners, because there are 10 tofu factories in this area. And these tofu factories generates 18 to 36 cubic meter of tofu per day. And around 50,000 people who live downstream is affected by tofu wastewater discharged to the river. And not only for the people downstream, because this tofu factory is actually a small-scale tofu factory. So this is just regular houses, and the tofu factory is just adjacent to them. In fact, what usually happens is that the tofu factory owners just build the tofu factory at the back or next to their houses. So people live just next to the factory. So we asked whether they live nearby or not, and whether they are annoyed by the wastewater. Surprisingly, some people said they are not annoyed. It's probably the one that not live near the factory. But still, some are little annoyed. Less people, they are either annoyed or not. And a lot of people, not only 5 people are very annoyed by the wastewater. We also asked what causes the annoyance. And most of them say that because it smells. So in 2014, starting 2014, we initiate a wastewater treatment plan to treat the tofu wastewater with the grant from NTU. The wastewater using anaerobic processes in multi-stages using upflow and fixed bed reactor. It's currently operational, producing 120 cubic meter of biogas per day. So this is the before situation. We have a tofu factory discharging their wastewater directly to the river. But now the wastewater goes to the wastewater treatment plant, and the treated water goes to the river. And in addition, we also have biogas, which can be used, which is flown to the houses for cooking. So we have 88 households using the biogas. Before they use this kind of LPG cylinders, the price is 25,000 rupiahs or 1.65 US dollars. And the energy that they need for cooking is actually less than the energy that is produced by the wastewater treatment plant. So they can save this kind of money per month. So what next? What we want to do with this system? Now, next to the biogas, we also want to use the treated water for plant watering or irrigation. Now, some of the farmers already try using it for their paddy field, and we will try to use it for fruit production. But we still have problem with the hydrogen sulfide because the biogas contain methane, CO2, and also hydrogen sulfide. This problem is partially solved by the scrubber. H2S is actually produced from degradation of protein. So what we want to do is we want to add one more unit operation to remove the protein. And we actually can get a nice product from it. And hopefully reduce or remove the H2S. And currently we have a biogas with 60% of methane. Our idea is probably it's a good idea to put the biogas through a photobioreactor to grow microalgae because microalgae needs CO2 for their growth. So if this works, then we will have a cleaner biogas with a higher concentration of methane and lower concentration of CO2. And also, we will have microalgae biomass. So this is the idea for value chains from tofu factory. And we couldn't do this project without the help of community. In fact, they are the initiators of this project. We have here Mr. Oji and Mr. Asef, which is the factory owners. They are very supportive from the start. They organize the factory owners to form an association and also to donate land for the wastewater treatment plant. We also have Mr. Epen here. He's the manager now of the plant, and he's also a local engineer. So he can do a maintenance of the wastewater treatment plant and fixing a lot of troubles at the site. We also have a female technician and analyst here, Mrs. Lilis and Ms. Tian. They also do the operation and maintenance of the plant. So as the closing remarks, self-purifying capacity of rural area needs to be maintained. Opportunities to create value chain arise from tackling environmental problems, and as a result, community empowerment was built. So we would like to thank the NTU Nyuri as the grant source of this project. We also would like to thank Giriharja Tofu Craftsmen Association and Giriharja community. And also thank you all for listening.